Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Dre Bee Rambo Show. I am your host, Dre Bee Rambo. Let's go. What's up, guys? All right, so we're going to jump right into it today. Today, I just got back, or I actually got back yesterday from Palm Desert, the Shadow Ridge Resort. A lovely time with my wife, a lot of fun. I did some really cool stuff out there, like pickleball. I don't know if anybody likes playing pickleball, but it is it's like a new thing going around. I've been playing a lot lately with my wife and my mother-in-law, and they just opened up some courts in my city where I've been playing regularly. It's a good workout. It's like tennis, only it's not tennis. Okay, so today, I'm going to get right into it. But today I want to talk about some man shit, all right, some man stuff. So today we're going to be talking a lot about self-control. I've been thinking a lot about this issue because there's a lot of things that have been going on in my life with my behavior, the things that I've been doing that have shown a real lack of self-control. If you have a wife like I do, they're really good at pointing out the areas where you fall short. And my wife has brought up a very important and true issues that are going on with me right now. For example, I've been drinking a lot of coffee. I don't know what it is about coffee. I just love coffee. I've been having not trouble. I just haven't kicked it out of my life, but that's something I certainly plan on doing. So self-control. Well, first, I think it's important to define what self-control really is. Now, I had a definition. I wrote it down somewhere. I don't know what I did with it. I don't know what I did with that. But anyway, so what is self-control? Self-control is doing what you want to do despite the fact that you can't do it or you don't. That's kind of a stupid definition, but self-control is like, I think it's really important to define that. And I had a definition here and it didn't make no sense when I wrote it down. Let's see if I can find it. Self-control, struggle with this. Blah, blah, I don't have blah, 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 blah. First decide, blah, blah, blah. I talked a lot about it. I wrote down a lot about it, but one thing, it looks like I didn't do a good job of keeping track of where I wrote it. But essentially, it's doing what you need to do, and sometimes what you want to do, despite the fact that you can't do it, and even sometimes you don't want to do it. It's just this weird thing. It's like you want to do something, but at the same time, you don't want to do that thing you want to do. So I want to be... I want to do things that, like, say, coffee, for example. I want to stop drinking coffee, and at the same time, I don't want to stop drinking it because I like the way it tastes and what it does, and the way it makes me feel, the little jittery, it makes me tired, all that kind of stuff. But self-control is really important because without it, we're not going to be able to make the improvements that we need to make. And there are certain things that self-control, if we can exercise self-control, we'll be able to make certain improvements in our health, our finances, and the relationships we have in our life. Those are the three areas that I am trying to implement self-control so that way I can improve those three areas. That would be my health, my wealth, and my relationships. Now, what's more important? I don't know. I don't think any of them are more important than the other because without your health, having wealth and good relationships in your life ain't going to matter because you're going to strain those relationships and you're going to die and, there that goes. And what's the point of, and then you think about money, what's the point of having money if you don't have good health? And you can't have good health. Well, maybe so. That's probably the most important thing, your health. All right. So, why do we want to have good health? Well, if you're like me, I want to improve myself in these three areas, especially financially. I feel that if you're not good financially, your relationships suffer. Why? Because whether it be your marriage or your family, whatever it is, if you don't have your finances under control, you cannot provide a good life for the people that are in your life, your married, your wife or your kids. They suffer as a result of you not having your finances together. And I experienced this firsthand, because I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you that my finances are good. They're not. They're not where I want them to be. So that's why I'm taking action now, obviously late in life, but better late than never, to make a change to the financial circumstances that I'm in. First of all, we need to kind of understand, how did I get here to a place where my finances are not under control? So here it is. I'm 45 years old. For the last 25 years, or for 25 years, not including this last year, 13 months, I was a waster, an alcoholic, a drunk and a druggie, just a waster, partying, not doing anything of value. I wouldn't say partying. I didn't want to partying much. For the majority of those 25 years, yes. But for the last 5, I wouldn't say any partying, or maybe even 9, no partying, but still getting wasted, And I was like getting wasted at home while I'm studying during law school, and just hanging out at home, drinking by myself, things like that. And so, because I spent the last 25 years being a waster, I never cared much about my finances or what I was doing to try to improve my financial situation. I was not what you would call a high-functioning alcoholic. That's not who I was. I'm sure there's people out there, I don't know them, but I'm sure there's people out there that have serious alcohol and drug issues, but at the same time perhaps have their finances under control. But I was not one of those people. I was able to get through law school that way, but I was never able to get my finances correct. And that has a lot to do with what's going on up here. Not believing that I was worthy maybe of having good finances. The mindset that I have was not of one who is, I'm going to raise the bar. I'm going to raise the standards that I have for myself as an individual, as a father or a husband. I obviously wasn't a husband during those times. I've been a husband for almost 2 years, not quite, but about 1.5 years. But even when I got married, I was still a waster, getting drunk. When I met my wife, I was drinking all the time, just being a bum. And so when I finally got sober, not right away, but I started thinking about, holy crap, I'm actually facing life, dealing with life. There's actually issues in my life that now I'm facing head on, because now I'm not running to the bottle or to the pot or the vape or whatever to try to run from those problems. Because anytime that I had a problem in life, or an issue, or a self-perceived problem, challenges is what they really were, I could not get myself moving forward. And it turns out the real problem was the alcohol and the drugs and the vaping. These were all things that are designed to keep you down, to make you not be mentally capable of dealing with real life issues that are right in front of you. It's the devil's plan. People don't think about it this way, but I certainly do, that the drugs and alcohol are there to keep you in poverty, to keep your mind down in the gutter, to keep you poor, not just financially, but spiritually and emotionally, keep you poor. To keep you in a poor mindset. And that's exactly what I had as a drunk. I had a poor mindset. I blamed everybody for my problems, and I ran to the bottle so I could numb the pain. And that's what I did as a grown-ass man, being a waster. And I'm not proud of that, and I don't say that to glorify that, obviously. But and obviously not to impress you, but to impress upon you that even though I was 44 years old when I stopped drinking, that people can make a change in their lives. And that's certainly what I did. So now I'm 45 years old. I've been sober a little over a year, probably about 13 months now. April, May, June, so almost 14 months. I've been sober. But for the majority of these 14 months, even though I was sober, my mind still wasn't comprehending, hey, there's something going on here, man. You got real life issues that you need to start improving. It's no longer just about staying sober, and that's a great start. But God or the universe, whatever it is you believe, cannot start to work in your life until you sober up and start to realize that now you got to face these problems head on. You got to face them. So one of the problems that I'm facing now is my financial circumstances. And my financial circumstances have affected my relationships that are in my life, my wife, my kids, everything. Whether they know it or not, my finances have affected those relationships. Certainly my wife knows because we got bills. And those bills get paid by both of us or her, and me not pulling enough of my weight around the house. I mean, of course, I wash dishes and watch the kids and all that, but it doesn't really matter. What matters is, are you providing financially? Money. Is there money coming in? That's important. As a husband, we need to provide financially. Aside from taking care of the kids and helping out around the house, in addition to that, primarily, we need to provide money. And when you've been living under a bottle most of your life, and then you finally get sober, you start to realize, holy crap, I have all these problems. I used to be able to run to a bottle and just forget the fact that I'm not providing or satisfying my duties that I have around the house, right? So, but now that I'm sober, I realize, holy crap, there's a bunch of stuff going on here financially that I got to take care of, because what I didn't realize is that, and my wife had been trying to tell me, is that the financial aspect of my responsibilities has now poured over into my relationships, my relationship with my wife, and my wife, and my relationship with my kids. And not having money or having your finances together can also affect your health, because when you don't have money, you're eating less quality food. You're eating crap. It's easy to go for the fast food when you have no money because it's cheaper, or at least it seems like it's cheaper, but it really isn't, because it costs you in your health. It costs you in the long run with being a healthy individual. And when you're not a healthy individual, it affects what's going on up here. If you're eating crap all day, not putting nutrient-dense food into your body, it's going to make you feel sluggish. And when you feel sluggish, your brain isn't going to work properly. You know, I noticed that when I put coffee into my brain or into my mouth, it has an effect on my brain. And this is a problem because, you know, drinking coffee is not going to do it has no value other than just me going like this and going, tastes good. See how I did that? I got a drink in just to make a point. But it's not adding any value. This cost me $2, and now I'm $2 more poor than I was when I bought it. So financially, it has an effect on our health and our relationships. So what's the first thing that I realized that I had to do? The first thing I realized that I had to do was to acknowledge that I have these shortcomings, that there's these things going on that I need to first accept. It's kind of like doing like the 12 steps in an alcoholic program, right? First step number 1 is just acknowledging that you have a problem. Well, I'm not obviously drinking, but I am falling short in certain areas of my life. And so the first thing I need to do is acknowledge that I'm not financially where I need to be. When my wife gets angry and starts talking shit, I need to acknowledge that even though I don't want to hear what she's saying, that what she's saying is true. My finances are not where they're supposed to be. So I acknowledge that. So I have to ask myself, am I doing everything I can to make the business that I need to generate for my companies, right? And right now I acknowledge that I'm not. Today I had a pretty good day. I made some decent money and whatnot, but I have not got myself where I need to be. So after I acknowledge the fact that I have these shortcomings, such as drinking coffee, and it could be anything. It could be coffee. If you're still using drugs or drinking or smoking, vaping, smoking weed, or any other type of drugs, the first thing we need to do is acknowledge that it's a problem and accept responsibility for that. We have a problem. I got a problem with coffee. I got a problem with being broke. I got a problem with reacting a certain way whenever I get into arguments with loved ones, wife, acknowledging that there's a problem and taking responsibility for that problem. I'm responsible. You know, I chose my wife. I chose the career that I'm in. I choose, you know, whether or not I get enough sleep at night. I'm choosing whether or not I'm reaching out to clients for business. I mean, these are choices, and I have to take responsibility for that. So by taking responsibility, it's going to be the step in the right direction to start making some changes. All these things are if we're taking responsibility, then we're basically saying it's my fault. Whatever happens is my fault. If you make money today, like today, for example, most days I make zero money. I'm at fault for that. I have to take responsibility for that. Today I made some good money. I wouldn't call it good money, but I mean, it's more than I'm used to making. You know, I made about, almost $1,200 today. That is something that I could take responsibility for. I put in with the commercials and, that I put on, that I blast on YouTube or on Instagram or whatever platforms, that brought in enough business for me. I made some money, right? I could take responsibility for that. But I also have to take responsibility for if the work doesn't get done. I have to take responsibility for my reputation with my company. Well, whether or not I'm going to put in the work, I take responsibility for that. And so that means I have to take action. So what kind of action do we need to take in order to make some positive changes? If you're somebody who's going through some issues where you are falling short, where you have some shortcomings with your business or with your life, as far as like drugs or alcohol or any of that kind of stuff, the first thing that I discovered for me personally is that I had to overcome certain fears. I fear all the time. Like I fear as my videos that I produce and record going to make me look dumb? Or are the videos going to not get the response that I'm looking for? Or am I going to receive criticism? Am I going to this? Am I going to that? And so what I've learned to do is to face that thing head on that makes me most fearful. I can give you an example. I was at Shadow Ridge Resorts this weekend, and I was at the fitness center. And so what I did was I was in the gym working out. I was pumping. They didn't have free weights, but I was just doing the machine. Actually, I was doing this machine. And I decided, I'm going to make a video inside of here. But there was people in there, though. And I was like, I'm going to make a legal doc guy video just for shits and giggles, right? And I was like, man, there's all these people in here. I'm gonna look stupid going, hey, this is the legal doc guy, blah, 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 right? But I was like, screw it, man. I'm just going to do it. So I put my camera, set it up, and then I came up with a short little script in my head, memorized it, took a couple minutes to memorize it, and then I just started. Boom. Hey, guys, it's legal doc. I didn't say legal doc guy here, but I was like, hey, guys, a legal doc guy, is the number one. How did I say? I was like, legal doc guy is the number one growing legal document preparation service in California. We can connect you with paralegals and attorneys in your area. Call the number today, blah, blah, blah. Something like that, right? It was actually better than that, but that's the gist of it. But the point was I did it in front of other strangers, people I didn't even know. And I'm sure they were looking at me like, what's this guy doing, right? And I'm just like right there being a total content creator, probably really annoying, but I didn't care. And I got over that. I just said, I'm just going to do it. And I did it right in front of those people. I didn't care. I may even post that. I haven't created the commercial for that yet, but I'll probably use it. And then this last weekend, I did videos at the pool. I even ended up talking to people. People were interested in what I was doing because I set up my tripod and I put my camera and I started doing different things like, you know, like doing, like walking around. I was making a funny commercial, but being serious about it, you know. I scheduled it. I wrote the script for it. I knew what angles I wanted and what I was going to do. And I executed, right? I took action, because we're talking now about taking action and overcoming the fears of the action that we're taking. So by me videoing myself, it was clear to anybody who was watching, I was creating content. And people, a couple of people came up to me and they wanted to know what I was doing. And I talked about my company, and I talked about my podcasts, and I talked about what I was doing, and they seemed genuinely interested in that. And it was great. And by overcoming the fear, I was able to get the content footage that I wanted so that I could create content. I got the raw footage. Now I just got to cut it up and make a commercial out of it. And that's the cool thing about taking action, is that you start to overcome as soon as, you know, the thing is, if you want to overcome certain things you're afraid of, I'm starting to find out that the best thing to do is to do that which you are afraid of. The more you do it, the more comfortable you come with it, and the less scared you're going to be. Excuse me. Now, that's just something I'm doing, but it's just like a first stage. I know that there's things I don't know. There's things that I'm going to come across in the future that are going to be like, oh man, it's challenging. But I know that if I just take some action and just trial and error, that I'm going to have good results. And that's so important. And this is not an original idea, because I've been reading books and they're talking about, you know, when we come across problems, when we're faced with challenges, that the best thing you can do is to make those mistakes or face that fear head on. I make plenty of mistakes in my businesses, you know, content creating, all that kind of stuff. And every single day, I am taking action to overcome those fears and make, to learn, like inch by inch, I'm learning new things. I mean, I've only been making content since February 5th of 2024. February 5th of 2024. That's February, March, April, May, June. That's only 5 months. And it went by so fast. And I've learned so much about editing and all this different stuff. And I'm still mechanical. I still look silly I'm sure to a lot of people. But overcoming the fear of looking stupid is so important. Overcoming the fear of worrying about what other people are thinking about you, or the criticism that comes with that's critical. If you have something you want to do, then you have to be willing to take criticism. When I went to law school, actually I went to college first, everybody talked crap, even my family. No one believed that I was going to go to college, and let alone go to law school, right? And I just kept telling people that I was going to go, and people would laugh or talk shit. I know these people, I know some of these people still. No one thought I was going to be able to do it, but I did it. You gotta believe that you can do it. That's one thing. We could talk about belief another time, but I think taking action is going to help you overcome the fear. It's going to help by getting experience and by getting some exposure to whatever that thing is that you want to do, and making the mistakes is critical. But here's what's even more critical. Guaranteed you're going to make some mistakes. Guaranteed you're going to hit some roadblocks. Guaranteed you're going to start having some challenges in whatever it is that you're trying to do. And if you want to get to the next level, if you want to level up, that's the critical moment that you cannot quit. That's the critical moment that you got to take additional steps to overcome that hump, that hurdle, whatever it is. There's so many times when I hit roadblocks, things that happen, and I have to take action to keep the process going, because it's really easy the first moments that we hit problems or that we hit a snag to just give up. It's so easy to do that. It's so easy to be like, my guest didn't show up, so I'm just gonna, call it a day. No one's gonna notice. No one cares. Screw that. You care, right? Because if you do quit, then I guess you don't care, but you do care. It does hurt. It bothers you when you want to do something and you decide you let the little problem get to you and you don't do it. There's been so many times when I wanted to do something, and because everything wasn't perfect, maybe there was like a little sound I heard in the wires, or maybe something wasn't working, and I just quit. Said, I'll save it for later. And then you just never get back to it. That's that's where if you want to see success, if you want to see something moving forward, if you want to actually make some progress, you got to pay attention to that moment when you hit a challenge, when there's a challenge, a problem. But I don't like to call it a problem. I like to call it a challenge. It's a changing of the mindset. I'm changing my mindset. It's no longer a problem. It's a challenge. When you hit a challenge, a snag, a wall, that's when you climb over it. You have to climb over the wall and accept that feeling of accomplishment. That's when it feels good to know that you got through something, that you actually hit you came upon a challenge, you overcame the challenge. That's when it feels good. When you hit that challenge and you don't do anything about it and you give up, that's when it has the opposite effect. That's when you feel bad. That's when you feel like, man, I suck. But there's no one or two ways about it. It's either you do or die. It's do or die. So if you want to do something, especially if you're past that stage of where you got your mind right, if you want to do something, you have to pay attention to when those challenges come up, whenever it is, because it's going to come. Oh, it's going to come. When it gets hard, that's when you got to pay attention. Oh, this is that moment. It's getting hard. This is that beautiful thing from God or from the universe, whatever it is you want to say. That's where it is. Uh-oh. Things just got hard. Oh my God, I actually have to use my brain and figure this out. I actually have to figure it out right now. And if you just stay on it, use your brain, stay on it, and you figure it out, and then you take action and implement your resolution to the problem, that's when it feels good. That's when it feels good. Because one thing I know for sure is that the universe or God will give you the answer to your problem. There's an answer. But you won't know the answer if you give up. If you just you hit the problem and instead of being mindful, like, hey, oh my God, this is it. This is the problem. But instead you're just like, this got too hard. And then you get distracted by your phone. I'm going to watch TV or you trick yourself. I'm going to do something else that seems like it's productive, but it really isn't. There's times when I'll go and I'll pick up, maybe you go pick up the dog shit outside. Oh, wow, or wash the dishes and I did something productive. No, that's a waster. That's a time waster. Washing the dishes is a time waster because it came before what it is you're trying to accomplish. It came at that moment when you were trying to accomplish your task, your goal, whatever it is. That goal is going to be something that's going to advance you, especially financially, or advance your business. That thing that you were going to do to gain more clients. There were so many times this weekend where I didn't want to make videos. When I was at that resort, I was just hanging with my wife. We're doing stuff. We're playing pickleball. We're visiting friends that we have out there. All this stuff. Sleeping in, taking a nap, and just enjoying my time. But I knew I'm not going to enjoy myself if I don't create the content that I intended to create. I had an idea for a commercial. I knew what video clips I needed, right? I knew what scenes that I needed. I knew I had to put on my swim trunks. I knew I had to go out there to the pool area, and I had to set up my tripod in front of other people. And me, I got, I don't know why I did that, but I don't exactly have, my body's chiseled, like crazy chiseled, but you still have self-consciously, you're still like, oh my God, people are going to see my body on camera, right? Because I'm at a pool. And so I'm literally it's not time yet. So I'm literally making these decisions that are going to have an impact on how my day goes. Either my day is going to go, give me 1 second. Okay, whatever. Either my day is going to, so the decisions that I make, they're going to go one way or the other. If I don't make these video clips that I intended to do and I let the day go by and I go the whole weekend, I don't get the clips I wanted to make my commercials, guess what? I'm going to be down on myself because man, how could you miss that opportunity? You're out in Palm Springs. You had an opportunity. You had a pool, you had beautiful scenery. You had the scenery you needed to make those video clips, but you didn't do it. right? I'm going to feel like crap. But I made the decision to make the clips. I did 2 days of recording to get the video clips that I wanted, the lines that I needed, right? For this video, this idea that I had. And I feel good about it. I haven't made actually I haven't done the editing, the production part, but I did the producing part where I actually produced the clips that I need to make the commercial. I got them. I did it. So I felt great about that. I was like, man, I did it. I'm a G. I handled. I didn't let the little voice in my head, I said, don't worry, we'll do it later. Nah, mother effer, we're going to do it now. That voice is in my head trying to take back control, trying to make me a loser. But the other voice in my mind, me, was like, nah, I'm doing this, okay? I'm going to use the power that I have. And I believe it's the power of God in me, helping me to make that Holy Spirit to tell me, do it. The devil's over here like, nah, don't do it. But, and then I got to make the choice, me, right? Dre has to make the decision. And I made the right decision. I did it. Same thing when I was there. I had a client. I'm trying to make this paper. I know that I could spend 2 days, 3 days, whatever it was, getting the paperwork finished, actually doing the work. Then I will feel good about it. I could spend the rest of my weekend feeling good and not worrying in the back of my mind that I need to get this work done. I could have made the decision, I'll just save it for Monday when I get back home and I'll just do it then. But that voice was telling me that, but I didn't. I think it was Friday. Saturday. I spent all Friday, a work day, by the way. You know I'm on vacation. It's a work day. I worked all Friday. Didn't get to go to the pool. My wife hung out at the pool. I didn't. I got the work done. It was a whole day. I mean, the work that I'm supposed to be paid for that, I'm trying to earn a couple $1,000, right? I'm like, dude, give up this day, make that paper. And I did it, and I felt good Saturday. Played pickleball, just doing all kinds of stuff. Didn't have any worries. I had no worries. But had I chosen not to do it, I would have been worried the whole time. I would have been like, man, I should have did it. And I feel like crap right now. So that's the taking the action part. And now I feel good. I feel like and I'm glad I did, because now I got 2 more clients today. And I have to focus on that, get that work done. That's keep the business going. The universe, God is going to give you what you can handle. And I showed God this last weekend, that I could handle some work, that I got the work done, and God blessed me again, giving me that work. All right. So taking action, overcoming the fear, not being afraid, because that is a problem. If you're afraid, that's a problem. All right. And then this brings me back to resilience. Okay. You have to keep going. Whatever it is that you're trying to do, you have to keep going, because failure is a good thing if you learn from it and you keep going. You're always going to fail. We're always going to fail. The question is, are you going to keep moving? You're always going to have mistakes or have failures, but it doesn't stay a failure if you learn from it and keep moving forward. I know everybody hears that. That's not like a new idea, but you really got to grasp this idea, because so many times, and this is me, I'm talking about myself here, where the failure came, I learned from that failure, but I didn't take any action. Or I failed and didn't even learn from it, even worse, right? And that can happen. But you got to be aware that there's going to be failure. There has to be failure. You cannot have growth without it. There is no such thing as you just keep climbing that ladder and never make mistakes. Oh, it's got to be perfect all the way up. No. Actually, those little things, the ladder that you're climbing on, is failure after failure after failure. Failure, learn from your failure, action. Failure after failure, learning from your failure, action. Okay, that's how you're gonna climb up. You gotta find ways to adapt and overcome the failure. I mean, that's what it is. So, and of course, don't worry about criticism. Like, people are gonna watch this video that I'm doing right now, this very video, and people are gonna be like, what the hell does this guy know what he's talking about? Screw those people. Who gives a crap? Anybody who sees that and they don't like what I'm saying, get lost, bro. Because I'm doing. You have to be willing to keep moving forward and not worry about the criticism, because the criticism's coming. It's gonna come. And part of the process is learning how to deal with that criticism. It's not avoiding criticism. It's coming. You have to learn how to use that criticism, deal with that criticism to make you stronger. When I was out there at the pool making videos and clips, yeah, there was a little bit of me was like, oh man, I hope people don't think I'm a fool or cheesy or whatever. Or I look dumb. But I did it anyway, and good things came from it. Not always good things are going to come from it. You have to be prepared for that. Some people are not going to like what you're doing. Most people aren't going to want to see you succeed. But when you have success and you take that in, you keep going for more. Don't stop. Keep success after success after success after success. You just keep going. All right, guys. So I'm going to talk more about these types of issues probably on Friday, because Wednesday I got a couple of special guests. I got a couple of people coming on to the show with some good stories. I haven't recorded it yet, but we'll be recording tomorrow, and you guys will see it on Wednesday. So I hope that you'll tune in for that. Also, I am going to be doing a podcast for Legal Doc Guy. I will be hosting that podcast as Dre Bee Rambo. It's the Legal Doc Guy podcast, but it's hosted by me. I'm Dre Bee Rambo, as you know. It's going to be on financial stuff, but it's not really financial stuff from me. It's going to be financial stuff from other people. But for the first episode, because my guest canceled on me already, people who cannot keep, seem to have commitment issues. So many people have commitment issues. Let me tell you, I'm going to just say this. I'm just going to put this out there because, I don't care. I'm going to put it out there. So many people have commitment issues, and I have them too. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes all the time. But when you commit to something, commit to that, because that's your word. When you make plans with somebody, you keep your commitment, because that's your reputation. Your reputation is so important. And I'll do an episode on reputation. I'm not going to do it right now because I got to go. But your reputation is super important. It takes so long to build your reputation up, and it doesn't take much. It only takes a couple of seconds to ruin it. Okay. When you make a commitment, you tell someone you're going to do something. If you tell your friend a week in advance, I'm going to help you move a couch. Even if your friend don't call you, you show up that week later at the time you said you were going to do it, and you show up ready to move a couch, right? Because that says something about you. There's been plenty of times when somebody asked me to do them a favor, and it was like a week or two out in advance. I just wrote down when it was, and I was there, showed up, even though they never called me again to remind me I was there. And they're like, holy crap, man, I forgot we were even going to do that. And I was like, I didn't. Are we going to do this or not? Because I came, right? That says something about you being reliable, about who you are as a person. And so I just wanted to put that out there. There's nothing wrong with canceling on people, but do it, but let them know, right? And if you do screw up and you miss, call them and let them acknowledge, apologize, make sure that don't just ignore, oh, well, I already screwed it. I screwed the pooch on that. So I'm just going to ignore them for the next month and just act like nothing. No, call them and apologize. Tell them that you're sorry that it happened and try to make amends on that. It'll save your reputation. It goes a long way. All right, guys. So thank you for tuning into the show. I really appreciate it. We are going to be, I know I'm supposed to be going live and stuff, but I'm having trouble with the internet. I'm going to get it fixed. I need to go to Best Buy and buy like another router or something like that. I don't know. I'll take care of it. I'll get it done. So anyway, thank you for watching the show. I love you all and care about you all. I got a lot of cool stuff coming up in the future that I'm working on. I got plenty of things going on. So stick around, subscribe to the show, share, like, and subscribe, and come on this, this mission that I got going on. I have a life mission for this shows that I would like you all to be a part of. So make sure that you guys subscribe so that you guys don't miss out. All right, guys. God bless you all. Stay holy. Stay holy.